All right, welcome back. I'm going to continue my 32 and 32 with the Denver Broncos, the team that I cheer for. And it seems like we're basically in the decade of darkness where there hasn't been any postseason action since the 2015-16 campaign when we went on to win Super Bowl 50. So that was many, many years ago. And they have not seen the postseason since. Been through a few quarterbacks, a few coaches, and hasn't seemed to make much of a difference. Last year was a surprise in the offseason when they decided to go after Russell Wilson. I thought a guy for his caliber, who's not the guy he was when he won the Super Bowl against the Broncos, ironically, and then went back to the Super Bowl and played the Patriots. We all know how that game ended. But he's not the same two-way guy that he was back in the day, where he's not going to scramble out of the pocket, try to make some magic and make some throws, or try to run the ball. He's not that guy anymore. So the fact that they're paying him as much as they are, I'm just going to go on a little bit of a rant here before I start talking about the team and all that other jazz. But it just really bothered me that they paid him as much as he's getting paid, and he's not performing up to the level that he needs to be. He always kept saying, "Let's ride, let's ride." Well, how about Russ or let's cook or Russ cook and stuff like that? It's just like, no, Russ, just throw the damn ball, be the guy you were when you were able to be an elite quarterback. Or like I want to say at some point he would have been like a top 10 quarterback in the league. Now he looks like he's like the bottom 10 quarterback in the league. Like there's so many other options that they could have gone with, but I know this may have been like an Elway move where he's trying to get all these older quarterbacks, veteran quarterbacks to help lead the team and right the ship. Yeah, you hit a home run with Peyton Manning, but after that, you've gone through quarterback after quarterback. It just seems like almost every other year, and you've had no success. So just because you had luck once doesn't mean lightning's going to strike twice. So uh, that's just my old little spiel for there. So in my opinion, this upcoming season, Russ has to play a lot better. He's got to have more touchdowns than washrooms. I know that was the whole joke last year, is how he had so many washrooms in his new place, and he had just enough touchdowns as he did washrooms in his mansion or whatever you want to call it. So I thought that was kind of funny. So he's got to put up like 20, 25 touchdowns. Try to watch out on the turnovers. I know I can always say try to like limit the sacks, but the sacks are really out of his control. It's up to the offensive line to try to help out, whether you bring your halfback or your fullback to try and block a couple of the tackles or guards that are coming your way, or linebackers, I should say, not guards. But like this season has to be make the playoffs. Like there's no reason why we can't or why they can't compete for a playoff spot. Yeah, you have the Chiefs and the Chargers in your division, so there's no guarantees you're going to get the division title. But with that third wild card, I truly believe they got to try and push for a wild card. I could be biased because I'm a Broncos fan, but like my God, like how do you go from winning a championship and then go 7, 8 years without even seeing any postseason action? The only time you had one record was the following season when you finished 9-7. You had Trevor Siemian at your hands. Otherwise, the team was basically the same. So the only time they had a winning season was in the 2016-17 year, and yeah, they have not been above 500 ever since. So I apologize for the couple minutes of the rant there, but I just have to say my little piece. So they finished last season 5-12. Uh, let's take a look and see if I can put up their division matchups. I think they were honestly one. Yeah, they were 1-5. The only win they had was against the Chargers in the last week of the season. Otherwise, they got swept by the Raiders. They got swept by the Chiefs. That's no surprise. It seems like they're able to always split a season or a season series with the Chargers, but otherwise, it's like you're playing the Chiefs. You might as well just drop an L before we even have the kickoff. And same thing with the Raiders. They seem to have their numbers. So a few key additions and a few key subtractions. Starting with on the offensive line, Mike McGlinchey. He played last year with the where is it? San Francisco 49ers. So obviously he has a little bit of playoff experience himself, uh, as he was part of that team that went all the way to the NFC Championship. So maybe adding someone like him can definitely help keep Russ on his feet rather than on his back. Ben Powers, the guard. He played last season with, where is it? With the Baltimore Ravens. Obviously, he knows a thing or two about having a winning team, winning record. And the other key addition has Graham Glasgow and oh no, I apologize, that was on the wrong one. Zach Allen, defensive tackle. I believe came over from the Arizona Cardinals. So some key subtractions. Draymond Jones, I think he went with the Seattle Seahawks, and yes, he did. He sure signed there. Deshaun Williams, another defensive tackle. He is off to the Carolina Panthers, and Graham Glasgow is off to the Detroit Lions. So as I said previously, I believe this team in the 2023-2024 upcoming season, they should have at least an above 500 record. But there are a lot of teams in the AFC that are pretty darn good, if not better than the Broncos. I I really have high hope and high praise. I know last offseason when they got Russ, I was initially thinking, holy cow, we finally got another quarterback. Maybe this can be like another Peyton Manning kind of figure. But then after the season just went to absolute shit, I was like, wow. And now we're stuck with this guy for a number of years because no other team is going to take on his contract if he plays as bad as he did. So um, I want to say that they should finish with maybe like a 9-8. They'd be lucky if they get to like 10-7. They have a decent team. They have good offense, good defense. Sorry about that. But I just truly believe they should finish better than 5-12. There's no excuse, and I feel that the ownership group and the management, they're just fed up with the inconsistency of this team. I mean, at one point, I'm not sure if it's still standing. They were one of the winningest franchises in the history of the NFL, but obviously the last 7-8 years where we've absolutely ished the bed. I'm sure other teams are catching up to us pretty quickly. So that's pretty much all I got to say. I think this is probably going to be the longest video of all the previews because it's obviously the team that I cheer for. But yeah, hopefully that there's good signs to come. Hopefully Russ can actually start cooking instead of burning everything. And only time will tell. Until next time, take care.